Unprecedented.
So the worst that's ever been seen in this country?
In terms of hoof disease, I think so, yeah.
It's a mysterious hoof disease, and it is wiping out elk from Mount St. Helens all the way down to the Columbia River. State biologists in Washington think they know what it is, but at this point they say they have no idea how to treat it, and it's called hoof rot.
Well, Dan Tilken is investigating what biologists actually really know about this illness that threatens to wipe out the local elk. There are some who accuse the state now of dragging its feet, and we want to warn you, some of the images are hard to watch.
At the foot of Mount St. Helens.
We had Spirit Lake Lodge, actually is what our family owned, so that was kind of our claim to fame here.
Mark Smith has long kept an eye on elk that wander onto his eco park resort.
See that one in the back? She's not using her right leg in the back.
He's documented how the elk struggle to walk. The hoof rot either causes an elk's hoof to grow abnormally, what's called slipper toe, or in other cases causes the hoof to decay away. He says half or more of the elk he sees have it. Smith has the same concerns.
There's elk tracks right there.
As Wahkiakum County Commissioner Dan Cothran, who keeps watch on elk 60 miles to the west.
I'm just not happy with taking this long. I mean, this thing was noticed in the 90s.
These folks say you're not doing enough and you're dragging your feet. Are you doing enough?
I think we are. I think we're trying really, really hard to get to the bottom of this.
Washington State Fish and Wildlife says 4 independent labs have confirmed a bacteria called treponema is in the hooves. They think it lives in the wet soil, but they have no idea where it came from or how to treat it in wild animals.
And I think that's one of the more sobering sort of findings of all this whole process, is that once hoof disease is in a herd or on a landscape, it's basically really, really hard or nearly impossible to eliminate.
We're not looking at the big picture, you know, the total problem. We see a disease, hoof rot, and we assume that that's the only thing we're looking at.
Both Smith and Cothran think there could be multiple diseases, including one called leptospirosis that's been found in the elk. Smith thinks environment could be a factor. Scientists are looking at whether herbicides sprayed on clear cuts, as well as whether dense forests that prevent grazing grounds have weakened the elk.
None of this is food.
Both Smith and Cothran wonder if an elongated hunting season has added to the elk's stress levels, making them susceptible to sickness. So far, scientists have not seen those factors since they started really studying the disease in 2008 when it exploded. Now there are worries hoof rot might spread to Oregon.
All of us want to know what this is as soon as possible because it's such a big question, it's such a big priority, and it's going to impact what can we do.
Hopefully, before it's too late. Dan Tilken, KOIN 6 News.
Oregon Fish and Wildlife tell us it's possible there have been a few cases here in Oregon. Washington has spent just over $50,000 so far on this hoof rot issue. Now, even though the labs have donated their services, critics say the state hasn't spent nearly enough. Fish and Wildlife is proposing a new budget of $250,000. We'll have much more information on this at KOIN.com, including the latest studies, so you can look at it further.
Boy, a real serious issue there.